Hi everyone, this is Eugene Lisho. Today I'd like to show you how you can use Visual SFM and CMPMVS to create some really fantastic 3D reconstructions. What I have here on my screen is a 3D reconstruction of a tree trunk that is now exported to MeshLab, but this is actually the simplified one, and you can see that it's quite dense, has really nice textures, and all done from iPhone photographs, so not too bad. Okay, so a little bit of background about CMPMVS. This was started by Michael Jankosek, and I hope I said his name right, at the Czech Technology University in Prague. And this is part of a research project for him, and it's been out about 1 year, available for non-commercial use. In order to get started, you're going to have to go to the website here. I'll bring that up, CMPMVS, and there's a download link further down. You can pick that up. But you will also need Visual SFM. So make sure you go there and pick that up as well. Just go through all the documentation and you'll find that it'll help you out a lot. It's fairly well documented. With respect to CMPMVS, you will need Windows 7 64-bit. You'll need a good video graphics card with at least 1 GB of video RAM, Visual Studio C++ 2008, DirectX installed, and you also make sure your GPU drivers are the latest ones. In terms of the workflow, I'll sort of give you a quick demo here. I've already sort of done a sample here, but I've got a bunch of photos here that I have taken around this tree trunk, and we need to start off in Visual SFM, so I'm going to bring that up. The first thing that we're going to do in Visual SFM is load in the photos. Now, I've already done this, so it's not going to process, or it will process very quickly. So I'm just going to go open. It's going to now go through and load up all the images. I'll give that a second, and they should show up here, so they do. Okay. The next step you're going to do is click on this missing matches. So this will go through, it'll identify all the features on the images themselves and then match them between all the images. So I'm going to click on that, but since I have all the files, it's telling me it didn't take any time to process because it's got it already. Now in terms of the 3D reconstruction, this will be next. It will put this together for me. So I'm going to click on this, and it's just putting together all the matches and all the camera positions and everything else and constructing the 3D points. And I'll pause this for a second until it's done. Actually, okay, so you can now see the sparse reconstruction here. All the camera positions are up top. You can see that I chose a circular path, 2 circular paths around the tree trunk, and we've got all the points. So at this point, this is where the workflow changes. Normally, if you wanted to do a dense reconstruction in Visual SFM, what you would do is just click the CMVS button, create a directory, and away it would go. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to save this differently. So if you click on the drop-down menu, the file type, and you click on the second option here, it says CMPMVS, and I may want to call this tree trunk demo, something like that. I'm going to hit save. And what it'll do is it'll start writing out a whole bunch of information and create, most importantly, an initialization file that we're going to use with the CMPMVS module. Okay, so that's done. So at this point, I'm pretty much done with Visual SFM. Now, if I go into my, let's see here, if I go into my demo folder here, and I go back up top, you'll see that I've written out tree trunk demo here. So I'm going to go in. There's a 00 folder, there's a data folder, a temp folder, and down here you'll see MVS. So this file here is important. This is the initialization file that we're going to call from the command line to run it. So you'll see that it rewrote actually all the images in another folder called data, and it's got the path to it here. It identifies how many images there are, the width and height, scale, and all this sort of thing. Now all this information can be, or at least the settings can be found in the README file of CMPMVS. If you go into the root folder here, CMPMVS, there's an ini file, and then you'll see a README file. So when you bring this up, this has a lot of explanations about what each of the variables do here and how you can simplify things, turn things off and on. And I don't want to go through this on this particular video, but we'll do that probably maybe in a follow-up video or something like that. Okay, so to get started, so remember that this let me go back to This is the MVS file. I don't need that right now. So this is what I need to call. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy this path right now, and mvs.ini is the file that I need. So now what I'm going to do is go to the command prompt, and I'm just going to go to start, type in cmd command. There we go. Okay. So what I need to do is I'm going to go to my desktop. Desktop, and I have a folder CMPMVS, and that's where I've just left it. I just left it on the desktop. So now inside this folder I have the CMPMVS.exe file, so that's what we're going to use, but I need to paste the path to that initialization file that it created. So I'm just going to paste what I had before, and I'm going to add backslash mvs.ini. Now I'm pretty much set up to go. Once I hit enter, oh, now it gave me a problem. So how can I fix that? Okay, so I see what's happening here. I think what happens is I've got some spaces here in the path, so that's a good point. Okay, so I've had to just restart because I had to rename some files. I've got some bad habits by leaving spaces in the directory names, so that's really an important point. Don't leave any spaces in your file names or directory names because it causes some problems. So I'm just going to start this over again, and I'm going to go cd desktop, and I'm going to go to cd CMPMVS. That's the location of my folder for CMPMVS, and I'm just going to say CMPMVS.exe, and now what I'm going to do is just leave a space, and I am going to call up the initialization file, which is here. So in my tree trunk demo, initially I had a space between the TT and demo here, so I've gotten rid of that. So I'm just going to click here, copy the path, go back, I'm going to right click, paste, and I'm going to add on the end of this mvs.ini. So if I'm lucky and everything is in order, this should work. And I'm going to hit enter, and now it's actually starting to process. So I've done this already, but this just gives you an idea of what has to happen here. So I'm just going to shut that down because I've got it already. So once you're done, you'll see here TT, I did this one, 00, data, and then you've got an out folder. When you go to the out folder, this is where you're going to find pretty much everything. There's videos that are created, there's textures, there's WRL files, there's PLY files. This is the full PLY file here at high density, but you'll see I have a folder here called simplified as well. So it's simplified by 10 times. So if I call that one up, actually that one is this file here that I had up before, and I'll just show you the difference for the heck of it. That's what the mesh looks like on the simplified, and what I'll do is I will close that, and I'm going to go back and get the high density one. And this might take a second to bring up, and I better scale it so it fits into my window, like that, and like that. And in a second here you'll see I've got the high-res version. So I'll turn this around. It takes a little bit of time. It chugs along on my little laptop here, but it manages. And I'm going to zoom in to the mesh, and I'll show you. Let's see here if I can get that going. Yeah, there we go. So you can see we've got a very dense result here. The textures that are created are quite nice. Let me go back this way. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Keep in mind that if you go to the CMPMVS folder, for the ini file, if I didn't mention this already, there's a readme file here that explains all the settings in the ini file, and that's very important if you want to make adjustments to the final mesh. So I think that's about it for now. That's all I'm going to say. Hopefully that gives you a quick overview of the workflow, and thanks for listening.